baby, real talk.
Perfect. Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
Welcome.
It's
So,
cool.
I'm really excited. So I've got Courtney here
Hi.
today. Hey, Courtney. So Courtney, I love Courtney because Courtney does stand-up comedy here in Bunbury with me. And I just want to cut to the chase because people are going to love this. And you were on Farmer Wants a Wife.
Yeah. Woo.
Holy dams.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Crazy. That was like, how long, what did I do? Like 2023, I think. I ended 2023, so aired 2024, I think. Yeah.
The one
So,
on last year.
Yeah, the one gone like, what was it the year
2
before?
years before?
2 years before, I think. Season 13, I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your farmer's name?
Farmer Matt, his name was.
Wasn't
I
he a
want to be
famous?
comfortable like you.
Yeah, do it. Go for it. That's why I do it too. It's casual.
Yay.
It's casual.
It's great. I'm
How do you
comfy
feel now? Good?
Yeah.
Good. Was Farmer Matt, was he one of the famous ones? I've watched bits of it, but I'm not a huge fan. So help me.
I don't know if he's famous as such, but he's been on, like, him and his partner from the show. They're still together. They've got a baby now. And so they've, like, been on the show at the end of the last 2 seasons. They, like, brought them back for things to be like, and they've had a baby now. This is because of the show. And it's really funny because anytime I meet someone, I'm like, yeah, I went on Farmer Wants a Wife. Everyone's like, did you find a farmer? I'm like, why would I still be here if I found a farmer, for one? And also, I'm like, no, but my roommate did, because there were 8 girls and we got roomed with one. So I got roomed with Liv, and she's the one that ended up with him.
With Matt?
Yeah, with Matt.
Where was Liv from?
New South Wales, and
Okay.
so was he. So it worked out well for them.
How do you feel now when you see them together?
I'm really happy for them. I picked it, like, I'm normally pretty good when I watch a show, low-key sidekick, low-key psychic. I feel like I can pick who they're going to pick from the start. And the moment I met her, I was like, oh, she's going to be the front runner. Like, I don't know, she had this vibe about her. I was like, she's going to be the front runner. And when we got there and we met him for the first time, he went to walk off with her to take her on a date, and then the producers were like, no, you can't do that. Like, we pick who goes first, and they picked her anyway. They're like, no, like, you can't. He's like, oh. And I was like, I knew in that moment because he'd picked her I was like, oh, she's it. And that I remember, like, talking to her that night before, like, I got kicked off. I talked to her that night after the dates, and I was like, you're going to be at the end. She's like, no. I was like, no, you'll be at the end. I know this for a fact. Like, it's going to be you.
Okay, so...
And it was.
Did you start to like him at all? Or
No,
because you saw him?
I knew him we had a 10-minute speed date, which felt like the longest 10 minutes of my life because there was nothing there.
Yeah,
I was like, I've met people on a night out with who I've had more conversation with.
And how did you feel about having the cameras? Because I watched a little bit this morning of the meets, and this chick, she comes and sits with the farmer. They're sitting on the back of the pickup, and it was just so awkward, and she was being so fake. And it's like, we know the camera's on you, and you're just making it so obvious. Or could you shut that out?
I felt like I shut it out, to be honest. Like, there were maybe, it kind of feels like a blur, to be honest. Like, when we went outside, our dates were inside. Thank fuck. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank fuck. Because it was literally so windy outside. I felt really bad for the girls. That you could see it in, like, the dates when it aired, how many of them were just like windswept the whole time if they were on the back of a ute outside. We were inside in like a barn, and we had to like walk up and walk all the way in and be like, hey, hi, Matt, I'm Courtney. He'd be like, hi, Courtney, I'm Matt. Give him a hug. He'd be like, pull up a stump, and I'd sat next to him, and there were maybe like 3 or 4 camera sound people, probably like from us to the wall away, like a meter away, just sitting there really quietly filming. And you kind of notice them when you walk in because you can see them there, but because you're just trying to get to know this person, and the producers put so much pressure on you to, like, they're like, what are you going to talk about in 10 minutes, you've got 10 minutes. It's a really quick time to go really fast. What are you going to talk about? Should we talk about this? Should we talk about this? Should we talk about this? And I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know. When I talk to someone, half the time, me getting to know someone is just like being sarcastic for 10 minutes before I actually get to know them. So it felt really unnatural for me. Like, I feel like if I meet someone out and about, I always start with jokes or like, you know, you joking about like, what do you do? And you're like, I'm a prostitute or something like that, you know, like you just joke and you just make banter and jokes before you actually get to know someone. Because for me, like banter is so important.
You couldn't do that?
Couldn't do that because it was 10 minutes. You had all this pressure to be like, you have to talk about what you do for work. You have to talk about what makes you good for Farmer Matt. What do you have in common? And it was like, it felt really forced. I was like, I got in. I was like, oh, I feel like I can't just be like me because I've got this list of things that I have to get through to talk to him about. And they were like, because I write my own songs, they were like, oh, talk about that, bring up that you like music, blah, 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 which is the bit that they aired actually. And I was like, okay.
How did he react to that?
He really liked listening to music, so he was like, oh, cool. Like, he was a really lovely bloke, don't get me wrong. He had really good eye contact, like he really listens to you and laughed at jokes and things like that. But I originally went for him because he was the most good looking, so that's very superficial of me.
So you got to choose. You got to choose
got
him.
to choose who you apply for. And everyone said to me, you should have gone for Farmer David because Farmer David wrote poetry and things, so he had a lot more creativity within him, which would have been better for me because I'm a creative person.
But Matt was the most handsome one. No, that's okay.
Superficial of me.
That's cool.
He was also, I think, a couple years younger than me as well, which didn't matter because Liv was my age and she's ended up with him. But
How old was he?
Oh,
so young then.
I think he was 23 and I was 25 at the time.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, he's the most good looking. And then because they do a video when you apply for them. They have a profile of questions that they've asked them that they've answered, like, what are your values? What are your hobbies? Blah, 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 that sort of thing that you can read to see if your values would align with theirs before you apply for them.
Do you think that they set you up like, did this based on like psychologically and analyzing you guys to make drama? Pick Liv.
Great question.
Put Liv with Matt or Tim and chuck her together with Liv because she's like this and they will get along or they won't.
Look, that's such a good question. I don't know. I know it is so scripted and staged. Once you get there, you realise you're like, you know that reality TV is not reality TV. But in your head, you have a version of you that you think you would be like on reality TV, and then you get there and you're like, shit, this is really overwhelming and it's not what I'm like at all. Like for me, I personally felt like I kind of went into the version of me that I probably was in school, which is self-preservation me, where I'm like a really loud, confident, bubbly person. And when I meet people, everyone's like, oh my gosh, like you're like such an extrovert and blah, blah, blah. And I always remember meeting people when I was in school, outside of school, who'd be like, oh, you in the popular group? And I'd be like, no, like I'm in the loser group. Like, what are you talking about? And I felt like that side of me came out on reality TV because I just felt like I couldn't be myself. I couldn't say what I wanted to say because I didn't want the cameras to skew me into a villain or a version of me. And they do ask you questions to purposefully create drama. Like I remember one, and the producers are so fake. Like when they talk to you, they're literally, no joke, they talk to you like this. They go, so like, what are you wearing today? Like, show us what you're wearing. Like, describe what you're wearing. That's literally how they talk. And it was
with
like,
no cameras on to you.
So when you do your voxy, which is, you know, when the girls like, or on reality TV, people talk to the camera and they're showing you them going, yeah, so I think Farmer Matt and I have a really good connection, but I'm not too sure. And they show you that on camera, right?
I got you now. The bit in between where they're doing
like the
that
video
interview.
diary.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
So they actually ask you those questions, but obviously you don't hear that on camera. You just hear them going, yeah, I think Farmer Matt likes me. But they're actually saying to you, so do you think Farmer Matt likes you? And then you're replying to their questions.
I got that.
But the way they say it isn't just like, so do you think Farmer Matt likes you? It's like, so do you think Farmer Matt likes you?
It's really staged and fake.
Like almost like what would I expect? Like American Valley Girl, like really fake, like we're besties, but really I'm gonna like stab you in the back later on.
Okay.
That's really what it feels like, and it's like, oh, yeah,
Oh, so they're trying to they're trying to poke you.
trying to poke you,
Yeah.
poke the bear,
Yeah.
see what comes out, because I mean, at the end of the day, I watched Maths this year with my mum for the first time ever. We've never watched it before, but for some reason this year we really got into it. Like, we were fully invested. Dad hates it. Dad's like, why are you watching that shit? And we're like, no, it's really good. We got really invested this year. And to me, if there was a person on there that was like, yeah, everyone's really lovely and I really like them, which is what I was doing, which is why I would have got kicked off straight away, because I was too scared to say anything else. I was like, yeah, everyone's really lovely. No, I don't think any girls are like a threat. No. That's so boring. If I was watching that, I'd be like, oh, snore. But as soon as someone, like on Maths, gets on and they're like, you're a bitch, I'm going to throw a glass of wine in your face, you're like, yes, drama.
Yeah,
That's what
that.
people crave out of reality TV. We want it. Honestly, it goes back to the days of the Colosseum. What do people do for entertainment? They go and watch someone get eaten by a lion. We don't want to watch someone like prancing about, like, you know, without a lion in the arena. We want to see the lion eat the person because as humans, we crave drama.
I love maths too. It's so exciting. So I was catching up watching some Farmer Wants a Wife, and it just reminded me, like, I was like you last year. I didn't have time to watch maths this year. If I did, I fucking would love it. That's that's higher on my list than anything else on Netflix. And so I get it, and made me want to play. It made me want to play maths like it's a board game. But I know I will be so scared because of the thing you said is like to look like an arsehole or villain on TV. But that's what they want. Do you think would you go on maths?
I would love to go on Maths.
Would you change anything? Would you do it different?
If I did reality TV again, it sounds so bad, but if I did it again, I would go in fully as myself this time. I don't think I would hide anything. I felt like I kind of went into a shell of a version of myself where I was just like, no, everyone's great, everyone's lovely. And I was really quiet. If I were to do it again, I wouldn't hold back. I'd just like, that person's a bitch, that person sucks, he's mean, he's not great. Like, and I would just lean into that. And like, if they make me a villain, like, so be it. But I mean, look at what Abby Chatfield did. She was the villain. I hated her.
Who's that?
She was on The Bachelor a few years ago, and everyone hated her. I hated her, but now she's made a thing of it. She was made out to the villain, and now she's like got a podcast. She's on other reality shows. Like, she hosts shows. Like, she made the best out of it.
I hope that you get another shot in on something like like a maths, or what's that other one, The Bachelor? Would you go on The Bachelor?
No,
Bachelorette.
I don't think I'd do a show again where you're vying for the same man, because it feels so unnatural. Even like watching Farmer Wants a Wife this year, my mum and I were like, ew, it feels wrong. You're just like vying for his attention. And that's, I think, why I went into a shell of myself on the show, because I got there and there's 8 of us girls, and I would like to consider myself I'm loud and I'm outspoken, but I'm a fairly nice person. I like to think I'm a nice person. Like, I don't want to stab someone in the back for the sake of it. And I was there with these 8 girls who were like me, but 10 times me. Like, I'm loud and outspoken, and it was like 10 times that, plus 8 of us. And it was like, you couldn't get a word in. It was like, me. Did you like your date? I want to be the first to speak because I want to be the one that's on camera. And it was like, oh my gosh, like I can't with this. It was overwhelming.
Do they switch then? Because like how you just described those chicks, it sounds like, from a guy's point of view, sounds pretty unappealing. Did they then switch when they came in the room with Matt, or am I am I the idiot?
Off camera, they said some pretty unhinged things for me. Like I just sat there. I remember sitting because you spend a lot of time off camera waiting for things, and you spend a lot of time with those girls. And the group of girls that I was with, like Farmer David, who everyone told me I should have gone for, the creative one, which he's married to lovely Emily now, who was in that group. That group of girls was singing High School Musical, and I remember sitting there being like, why the fuck am I not in that group? Like, that's my vibe right there. Whereas my group of girls were like making sexual jokes about him and thinking it was fun. Like, not all of them, but most of them making sexual jokes about him, thinking it was funny. And it just felt really, really uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, are these people even here for the right reason? Like, that's genuinely what it felt like at the time. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm okay going home because I was just very uncomfortable. It felt like you were just fighting for one person. I was like, I'd rather meet someone who I'm not, like, you're already half the time these days you're fighting for the one person because they're sleeping with 5 different women, you know,
in
like
real life.
Yeah, like, so like, why do I need to do that on camera, you know, like, yeah.
I get it, because I feel like that when I watch those dating shows too, I'm like, how do they tolerate that? Because I find that so hard in real life to tolerate if I having to compete with some other guy, and then this is also on TV. It's not just 5, there's 12 or whatever. And they're showing it on TV, and they're showing, everyone's going to see that you honestly, probably, unless you 1 out of 12, you're going to lose this competition, which is about, am I good enough? Will you consider, how do you put up with that?
That was the thing for me, like, going in, it was that whole thing of like, am I good enough? Because I already deal with that on a daily basis. Like, it's hard enough in life, like these days, because relationships are so hard these days because everyone's online, and I don't know what it is about this generation, but men are just like fucking 50 different girls at the same time, and it's just like, it's just trash. Like, you know what I mean? And it's hard enough if you meet someone out and then you find something out about them and you're like, oh, there it is, penny drops. But,
like what? You don't have to share anything too personal. We can change tack if you want. But
you'll be like, you like meet someone. You're like, oh, this person's really lovely, and then you find out like they're like not over their ex, or they've got a kid, or like something else crazy. Like they're sleeping with someone else as well at the same time they're sleeping with you, and you're like, oh gosh, and it's kind of like that, but just personified on television. Like, this guy's dating 8 different women at the same time, and you kind of go through this thing, you're like, oh, if he doesn't pick me, does that reflect on my self-worth, like if I'm not good enough? But for me, I think the thing that actually didn't trigger that for me was the fact that when I met him, like, I applied, I don't know if I said that before, like I applied for him as well because he said he was like really funny, loved jokes, had good banter, which, no offense, for me, he didn't. And he wasn't. He wasn't like, if I go on Farmer Wants Wife, I expect like a real like country bloke, you know, like, which he wasn't. He was very city-fied, I would say. Like, he's very good posture, like, yes, like he went to a city boarding school, but he lives in the country. Like, that's the vibe that I got. Are they really carefully chosen, do you think? Are they real, like... Do you don't know? Don't know. Yeah.
Because they're too good on camera sometimes.
No, I know. Yeah, supposedly, like, I don't know. I just expected like a country bloke, and I feel like I didn't get that. And I think the thing for me where I was like, didn't make me question my self-worth or anything, was the fact that like on that 10-minute date, I remember there was a bit of silence because it felt like the 10 minutes was going on forever. Everyone's like, that 10 minutes went so quick. I was like, oh, it could have ended quicker for me. I was sitting there. I remember there was like a moment of silence where we didn't know what to ask each other because there was just no connection really. And I was like, and I looked at the camera crew like, how long we got? How long we got, guys?
Can we do Tinder dates like that?
Yeah, like, wouldn't that be great?
Because Tinder dates are already shit.
I know.
Are they
I know.
shit?
Yeah, they're
shit,
so
right?
shit. Yeah.
So I wish that
Like
there
10
was
minutes
this
is up.
thing where if you were going to go on a Tinder date,
Yeah.
it was in front of a camera crew. It may as
that
well
would be
be.
great. And then you're like, sorry guys, it's our 10 minutes is up. I'm so sorry.
Mm.
like, see ya.
Gives you easy out of it too.
Yeah, it does.
And gives you evidence as well. Look, you were shit on this date.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
me.
You had the bad conversation.
Wouldn't that be so fun? I just fucking love that dating stuff so much, but I get so intimidated by that stuff we talked about, like the picking, am I good enough, and getting intimidated and stuff like that.
I think that's the thing, like, like for me in that instance, I didn't get that because I knew there was no connection.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't like I liked him from the get-go and was like, oh no, he didn't pick me and I really liked him. It was like I met him and I was like, oh no. A, he wasn't what I thought he would be. And B, kind of, there's like no connection here. So if you don't pick me, I'm actually okay with that because we didn't have a connection. Like the only reason I would want you to pick me is so I maybe get like a week longer of a free holiday. You know what
Was
I
it
mean?
good?
Because everything's paid for. Like your booze is paid for, your flights are paid for, your accommodation's paid for. It's like I got like a 3-day mini break. It was great.
Yeah, it sounds fun. But did we able to enjoy it? Because that's a lot of pressure to know that you're going to be on TV as well in this kind of show.
Yeah, like I was actually, funnily enough, I was writing my stand-up about it last night, actually. I, like, started, like, a stand-up piece about it because some of it was really, really funny. And, like, when I tell Mum,
Do you have a
Dad,
joke that you don't mind? I don't want you to give
yeah,
anything away.
yeah.
But
Like,
just like a
the
one-line or
one for
something.
me that I always say, like, when I'm talking with my family, if my family brings it up, they always think it's funny. They're like, you should put that in stand-up, which is that, like, when... At the end, when I did my talk to camera, like after I got let go, after he didn't pick 3 of us, I'm doing my talk to camera, and some of the girls like crying and shit, and I was like, you've known this bloke for 10 minutes, what are you doing? And I was on camera, and I was talking, and they have like the psychologist to the side and the producer, and I was answering the questions. My favorite question. Like, at the end, the psychologist is like, you did really well. I was like, thank you. And
What were these questions? Sorry,
so,
the questions for what?
Yeah, so the questions are like, are you sad, blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
and the
got it.
question that I got that I think was hilarious still to this day that I make jokes about all the time, they're like, Courtney, do you still believe in love? And I was like, bitch, I knew the man for 10 minutes. What do you mean? I've had a one-night stand longer than this.
That's a trap. Because you know,
Like,
one of my...
what do you mean?
You know, one of the most fun things about maths is like you're watching it at home and you're getting all excited
Yeah.
about the dumb thing. Listen to the dumb things that he said, she
Yeah.
said. That's a trap, that one. Because one of the
yeah.
funniest ones is like when everyone's shouting at the screen, you don't even know him.
Yes,
You're
that's-
cut up and in love. It's a trap, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Because no, that's the thing. Like, you don't even know him. I was like, that's the joke that I tell still. Because I'm like, I don't even know this man's last name. I still don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean do I still believe in love? That's such a stupid question. Like,
Okay, but Courtney, what we all really want to know is,
yeah.
do you still believe in love?
Oh, no. Not after being rejected on national television.
Well, what about this? Going on, do you think that even like, could you fall in love with that guy? Like before the whole thing, do you think you could even know, yes, it's possible I could fall in love with this guy? And that I'm legit open to that.
What, with him?
Even
Or,
before,
like,
even before you know him, like going on the show.
Like the idea of potentially falling in love with someone.
Yeah,
sure.
how did you feel about that? You felt like, yeah, I could.
Yeah, but it's funny you say that because, like, is that not the premise of every female, like, when they meet someone for the first time?
I don't know. You got to tell
Yeah,
me.
so
I'm
like
clueless.
I see TikToks about it all the time, and I think it's called like limerence or something like that. There's a word for it. I think it's limerence.
Limerence, I know.
Yeah, where like you, in your head, you fantasize about this person or this idea of a relationship that basically that's not who they are. That's who you've made them up to be in your head. So then when your situationship or whatever dies or goes south, you're upset about it, not because you actually know that person, but because in your head you created this whole
Got it.
life idea, fantasy that you were like, that's what they are. Oh no, you're actually just sad about what you've created yourself.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing. Like you go in being like, yeah, I could fall in love with this person, and you create like a
Yeah.
scenario of winning or whatnot, and then you meet them and yeah.
I got you.
I guess that kind
do
of
that.
bit may possibly be a bit of a letdown, but I think because for me, it wasn't as much of a letdown because I kind of went in knowing that I wasn't going to make it through anyway because I was actually a first reserve. I made it through the whole process, got a phone call saying he's picked his top 8. He still likes you, but you're not in the top 8.
Yeah, okay.
And if a girl pulls out, you'll get called, which is what happened. A girl pulled out and I got called up to last minute to get flown in. But so in my head, I was like, I'm already second best. So I already know he's not going to pick me.
Did you feel like I remember? I know you said that you didn't feel anything, but when I watched bits of the show, I see them clicking, and I just can't believe how they click because it's like so soon or it's on TV, and I think, is there something about the fact that it's on TV that makes it more exciting, and so they think, oh, isn't this exciting? So they're more likely to
100%.
click. That
Probably, yeah.
You see that. But
100%.
with you, even that didn't help you. Even that excitement didn't help you click.
I don't
or
even
feel
know
something.
what it was. Like for me, I actually feel like the experience, and I even said that on camera, and that's why the psychologist was like, wow, like that was really good. And I was like, no, I'm just crazy.
What was good? What was good?
For me, I feel like I gained more confidence rather than less because
when you came to
when I came back home, I was like, heck yeah, I've just been on reality TV. A, how cool is that? B, if I could get rejected on national television, it doesn't matter who the fuck rejects me now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. I've just been rejected in front of the whole of Australia. Who cares?
Super. Well, speaking of rejection,
Yeah.
hey, tell us more about doing stand-up comedy because that's the ultimate
Ultimate
success
rejection.
or rejection.
Oh, yeah.
It's right in front of you.
I
when
know.
It happens. What's that like?
That's
'Cause
what
people-
everyone
I
says.
know,
Like,
people wanna-
at work, when I tell people I do stand-up comedy, they're like, "Oh, that's brave." Like, I'm like, "Nah, it's good though." Like, I really enjoy comedy, and I don't know if it's just because I enjoy the instant validation of getting laughter, which I think is honestly a lot of why we
Sorry about my stomach.
all
It's
do it.
grumbling. I had a.
Mine will do it too.
I listened to that though. Let's say I'll turn the microphone down onto it. I'm afraid it's a bit disconnected. You know what I had for breakfast? We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
I had a Magnum ice cream for breakfast.
Oh, that's
Do you
what it
eat,
is.
Do you eat breakfast?
Nah.
It's
I'm
so
the
hard to
worst.
eat breakfast.
I know it is.
That's why I ate
I'm
it. I had
the
Magnum.
worst. Do you know what? I was at work one time as well, and I had this some dental reception, and I had this
Oh,
really
no.
lovely lady, and I think my stomach went. It literally went like. It was so loud, and she's like, "Did you eat breakfast?" I was like, "No, I don't eat breakfast," and she's like, oh, "My child," and she had this like accent. I don't know where it's from. I think it was South African or something, but she was like, "My child, you need to eat breakfast. You're going to
child."
die by the time you're 40 if you don't eat breakfast. Like, that's scientifically recorded." And I was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? I
God.
just don't want to eat breakfast." I was like, "Is my coffee not enough?" Like,
Shut
what
up.
do you mean?
It's like, what were her teeth like?
They were
I
fine.
should have asked her to open. Let's have a look before you criticize.
Before you criticise me, yeah.
Oh God, I want to know what she was there for.
I know.
But we were on something really good. Can you help me? My brain breaks sometimes. We were talking
Yeah,
about.
me too. It's the ADHD.
we got
Stand-up
on-
comedy.
But yeah, stand-up comedy. That you were saying you like the instant feedback.
I like the instant validation. Yeah, but you don't always get that.
No, sometimes.
And that's what I've learned from doing the comedy gigs down here.
Yeah.
I feel like I've kind of found a niche, like, because I haven't done a show in about a year because I've been going through my health things. So I haven't wanted to commit to anything because I haven't known when a surgery's coming, that kind of thing. So for me, I was like, stand-up comedy came up and it's something I dabbled in. And I was like, hey, if they're happening down here, then I'm going to do that. And for me, that's become my creative outlet. And I really enjoy it. And I really enjoy sitting in my room and writing things. And which is what my degree is literally writing our own shows. And it's the same for stand-up comedy. You sit there, you write. Sometimes I'll literally be in bed at like 12 at night or in the shower and I'll come up with a joke here. I'll say something just to myself and I'll be like, oh, that's good. I'm going to write that down. Like, you know.
It's like you can get to be creative all the time.
All the time. Yeah, it's great. And you'll be somewhere and you'll say something like, I was literally, the other day I was with mum and dad and I was like, hey, I just thought of a really good joke. And it was like, because I'm in dental reception, I said, and they both thought it was pretty good, which is rare for them.
Yeah, can you tell us or you're saving it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I said, you know how sometimes you meet someone or someone says something or you look at someone and you think, fuck, you're stupid. You know, like you get that sometimes. And I said, you get it a lot in dental reception where like you'll be on the phone to someone and someone goes, oh, hey, have you got any appointments today? And you go, no, I'm really sorry, we don't have anything available today. And then they go, oh, not even an emergency? And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't think you need your teeth checked. I think you need your ears checked. Like, oh, I think you're in the wrong place.
Oh, if only you could say that on the phone.
I know, and sometimes I feel like saying that. I'm like, when I say, no, I have nothing available today, it means I have nothing available today.
But my tooth is it's hurting me. I need.
And everyone's like,
it's an emergency.
Oh, but I'm in pain. I'm like, yeah, I'm in pain listening to this conversation. Like, please stop.
What's it like when you tell a joke? So talking about the rejection of What's a Wife, when you do a joke. I know what it's like.
Yeah, we all know what it's like.
No, but people who don't try it don't know because it's so horrible. It feels so bad.
Because they're so scared of that rejection that they don't want to even give it a go.
No, yeah. And so when you tell a joke and then it's just silence and you just said the thing and you've made it clear, here guys, hear the thing that I think is funny.
And that
I'm
you
going to say
didn't
it.
like.
And then... silence.
Do you know the worst part about that is like when you're rehearsing it at home and you're like, man, that's a good joke, and then no one laughs in the real time, and you're like, in your head, like everyone was laughing at that, and then you're like, oh shit, no one thought that was funny.
Those moments.
Yeah.
Do you think you can describe what that feels like?
Yeah, because when we did the Eton Tavern one, that was the one for me where like it was such a quiet audience that night.
Hard to connect with them.
And I was like, wow, literally nothing's landing.
Yeah.
And I just remember being up there being like, cool. And there's like this little tiny part of my brain that was panicking. It was like, just get off stage now. And I was like, and then there's like the logical part of my brain that was like, no, it's a performance. We're going to finish it off. That's a good thing about having a performance degree. Because even if somebody doesn't laugh, part of me is like, yes, it's me, but no, it's not me up here. It's my stand-up persona. You don't find it funny? That's fine. Yeah. We'll try next time.
That's so strong.
A little part of me was a bit like rocked after that because it was like the first time people hadn't laughed at things. And I was like, oh, I haven't experienced that before. Like, should I keep doing this? But
yes.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The overall part of me was like, no, it's a good thing that people didn't laugh because you, as a stand-up comedian, you have to experience the fails to experience the wins. So you just got to keep going.
Yeah, and that's, I think that's who stand-up comedians are.
Yeah,
it's the people who are able to do that.
Yeah,
people. I think there's a common belief that's like, people who do stand-up comedy are just people that are funny all the time and everything's laughing. It's like, no, there are people that are able to try a joke actually lots of times and have that rejection and not quit.
Yes,
they
correct.
got there
they keep
and
going.
they get there later.
Yeah. That's it. That's the thing. It's really interesting. There's a girl on TikTok I follow. She's very inspirational. She's English and her name's Sophie and she does rejection therapy. And she's been very inspiring to me when I watch her videos. And she does.
This is fun. Sorry, I don't want to. This is fun, by the way, because we just on the last episode finished talking about a thing called rejection sensitivity disorder, where you basically get full blown triggered by rejection. Can you keep going on what you're saying?
Because that's literally this girl is doing like that through rejection therapy. So
she's given other people therapy, or she's got this thing?
No, she's doing it for herself and sharing it online, and it's been really inspirational for other people. Like me, when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, that's so true. She does the most random, unhinged things. Like, she'll literally do things like going into a shoe store and asking if she can swap her pair of shoes for a new pair of shoes. And they're like, no. And she goes, okay, that's fine, bye. And she said the whole purpose is for them to say no, so that you can experience being rejected and knowing that it's okay. She'll wear her hair in this really weird style and walk around the shops. And she goes, look, nobody actually cares because everyone's in their own little world. You think people are going to care, but they don't. And sometimes she's had so many amazing experiences because people have actually said yes. She's gone to the airport and said, hey, can I go sit in the gold class lounge for a couple of hours? And they said, oh, you gold class member? She goes, no, I just wondered if I could sit in the gold class lounge for a couple of hours. And the lady goes, oh, well, it's not that busy today, so sure. And she got free food and coffee because she asked, because you don't know unless you ask. And if they say no, that's okay.
Yeah, that's cool. What's it called?
Her name's Sophie Jones, I think.
Sophie Jones.
She's on TikTok.
People can find it on TikTok.
Yeah, she's incredible and very inspirational that she just started doing it as a thing and it's launched. And yeah, and I mean, I've now done it. I've been on a night out and I've been like, hey, I'm just going to go up to that group of people and say hi.
Did you really?
Yeah. And I made friends that night. It was great. It was after one of the stand-up shows. I was like, hello, can I sit with you guys? And they're like, yeah, sure.
Wow, that's brave.
Either someone says no or someone says yes, but...
What about, do you have any other little strategies for pushing through the rejection? Whether it's this or stand-up comedy or dating or reality TV? Or you just do it?
It's literally just putting things into perspective for me, like that, like Sophie does on her TikTok.
So what does that mean?
Like,
but does it mean see that as not
stop,
important?
Yeah, to stop being in your own head about it, because like I have really bad anxiety, so I know what it's like to be like, oh, that person's going to say no, or that person's not going to like me, or you just think negative all the time.
So it's a fear of what someone else might think about you.
Yeah, which is a lot of where the fear of rejection comes from. That person's not going to like me, that person will say no. Whereas like everyone's going through their own thing if you put it into perspective, and it's about kind of having more faith in humanity, I guess, as such, because I feel like a lot of us, so many negative things happen in the world that a lot of us have that headspace of like, that person won't help me because, you know, blah, blah, blah. Whereas if you actually give people a go, you might have more faith in humanity. Like even the other day, like I was at the doctor's surgery and a man left his wallet on the chair. So I kind of grabbed his wallet and put it to the side with me and waited till he came out. And I was like, oh, excuse me, sir, this is your wallet. And he was just like so thankful. He was like, oh my gosh, like thank you so much. Because so many of us would think, oh, someone would steal that if I left it there. Because we don't actually expect somebody to pick it up and hand it back because we don't have enough faith in humanity. So it's the little things like that. Like I remember I posted on my TikTok actually, and I'd completely forgotten about this story of when I was in uni. I was at a party and I'd been rejected by this guy that I liked, and I was bawling my eyes out with my friend, my girlfriend. I was like, ah.
So what happened? Because the stories of rejection, I'm sorry to hear that happened to you, but it's like really spicy, kind of fun to hear about.
Right?
Thanks for sharing with it. So you told him that you liked him? And
Well, yeah, like I
you asked him out to a movie or something?
No, it wasn't like that. Like it was typical uni. Like I'd hooked up with him at a party beforehand, and then at this next party I was like, hey, like, do you like me? And he was like, no. And it was like horrid. And I was like, like crying, like my self-worth, you know, bawling my eyes out. My friend was there, and this guy came up to us because I think he knew my friend. He was like, hey, and I turned to him and I was like, I was so rude to him.
Who did? Some other guy?
This other guy.
Okay.
And my friend was like consoling me, and he walked up to us and I was like, fuck off, just fuck off. You can see like we're like busy. And I was so rude to him, and he was like, okay, and he left. And then 10 minutes later, that same guy comes back with Macca's bag, and he puts a large fries in my lap. And then
Which one?
walks
Hang
off.
on, the one that you were rude to or the one you liked?
The one that was rude, that I was rude to,
yeah. Come and put
came,
yeah.
like 10 minutes later, put a large fries on my lap and walked off.
Why do you do that?
And I was like, I was so rude to him, like, what? And I was so confused. And he came back later and had some fries, and we were all chatting, and I was like, thank you so much. Like, this just made my night and restored my faith in humanity. I'd had like a really shit night. And he was like, that's okay. And I was like, I'm really sorry for yelling at you. And he was like, oh, that's okay. You're going through something. It's fine. And I was like, oh my gosh. And like that, I completely forgot about that story until recently. And I was like, that just restores my faith in humanity, things like that. Like that he didn't take that personally and go, oh, what a bitch. Instead, he was like, oh, she's actually going through something. I'm going to do something to make her feel better. And he didn't know me. I didn't know him. And it's still one of the loveliest things that anyone's ever done for me, because it was just so random. And yeah, I was like, oh, faith in humanity restored. Things like that.
So is it like making little bit of love yourself and giving it out?
Yeah.
Makes it easier to take the hard stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Because in that circumstance, he could have taken that negatively and gone, oh, what a horrible person. Instead, he saw, oh, somebody is going through something, had a bit of empathy, and, you know, gave me his fries. And I was like, oh, that's really lovely.
Oh.
And that's where I was like, sorry for yelling at you. You know, he's like, that's okay, you're going through something.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
We're everyone's
All
going
through something. It's just about having empathy rather than taking it personally.
So easy to get down, like when you get rejected by on a date or in a show or something like that. But yeah, everyone's gone through something. Maybe they're heading in a different headspace.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's so easy to take things personally because in our head, the world revolves around us, right?
I take everything so personally.
So do I. Yeah. And like, that's where you have, like in that moment, that's where you kind of look at things and you go, actually, that's where rejection therapy comes in. You go, actually, it's not all about me. Even though I like to think it is, it's not. And so maybe that person's reaction isn't because of me, isn't because of my self-worth, it's because of them and theirs. So not to take not to take everything personally, I think is important.
How do you
just got really deep, Ryan.
This is real talk. It's a deep show.
Yeah.
What do you feel now about like if you have a crowd that's quiet like that? Do you feel like I'm trying to remember what you said, that they weren't really maybe connecting really with what you were saying.
What you're saying, yeah.
Push through. How do you feel like, or whether it's like that crowd or it's a date like that? What do you think is on you to do? Like, you kind of do you think it's just to keep doing your thing and push through and saying, hey, is this something you like? No, is this something you like?
Yeah.
You just consistently just be yourself.
I think, yeah, like when you got a crowd, I mean, even at the Rose that we did the other night, that was a really quiet crowd for all of us. For all of us, it was a quiet crowd. And I got up first, and I hate getting up first because nobody's drunk enough to laugh. Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, oh, here it is. But, you know, there was laughter here and there.
Yeah.
And I think it depends. For me, I think comedy is the same as any art form. It's all based on opinion and it's subjective. So not everybody's going to connect to that thing. Like, for example, in genre of movie, I love horror. Why? I don't know. I just like it. But somebody else might hate horror and love rom-coms.
Oh, I hate horror.
Right?
You say you love horror?
I love it.
Oh,
I watch
yuck.
it before I go to sleep at night.
Oh, yuck. How can you do that? Do you have nightmares?
No, I love it. I was just like straight after. I'm like, oh, that was a great show. Out. I don't even need to
The
watch anything
guts.
else.
What kind of horror with a lot of knives cutting guts open? And
I love
stuff?
thrillers, actually. I love like a killer
okay.
thriller.
That's not so bad.
I love a killer thriller. I love the ones where they like get trapped underwater with a shark or something crazy like that. I like the ones that, ironically, like for someone with really bad anxiety, I love the really stressful ones where you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? Like, love those. But horror, probably like The Conjuring, like all those. They're really good.
So scary.
Anything that was like it's based on a true story, and you're like, oh, okay. I don't know if I like that.
Oh man.
But yeah.
Do you have any other projects or stuff that people can see you in?
No, not at the moment. Just stand-up comedy.
Because I know that you've done a lot of acting, right?
Heaps, yeah. No, I haven't been doing anything at the moment. I've just been doing stand-up because I've been really enjoying that side of it.
Do you feel like doing stand-up comedy could end up being your big thing?
Yeah. Do you know
Would you like that?
This year is the year where I've been like, maybe this could be more of my niche. Because there aren't a lot of female comedians, at least none who are like, not to say that I'm like young, but none who are younger. Normally they're a little bit older and more mature. And there's not a lot. And you see that like I've seen that in lineups like here or when I watch them online, who they're featuring. I'm like, man. Oh, woman.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's definitely a niche, and I've always loved comedy. Like, I always remember when I did my musical theatre certificate, my whole life going, like, even through school, I was like, I want to do drama. I want to do, like, drama genre.
Yeah.
Comedy never crossed my mind. But I like to think I've always been a funny person without trying to be funny.
I remember, hey, now you say that, I remember you doing this. Did you do a song at
Shorelines.
At the Cube?
Yeah,
right
I did.
in there?
Yeah,
Just trying to give some reference for people listening. So this was like a performing arts, different people doing different things that they've prepared,
written,
and you did the song, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you'd do more stuff like that?
Yeah, I love writing music and things. A lot of my songs are very serious. That was probably one of the more funny ones. But yeah, I'd love to go down that avenue as well.
But I derailed you, but the picture of you end up as with stand-up comedy being a big thing. You would like that.
I would love
happen.
that. That'd be so fun. Yeah, because I really enjoy comedy, and I remember like in my musical theatre certificate, it wasn't until then that comedy even was even on my radar, and I did a musical theatre song that was like a comedy song, and my teacher said to me, who was like, you know, marking it and whatnot, he was like, you got really good comedic timing, like you're actually really good at comedy, and I was like, oh, okay, weird, that had never even crossed my mind. And it was like that opened a floodgate to me where then all I wanted to do was comedy. It was like comedy, because I enjoyed making people laugh. So it's like, and it's not just validation. It's also like, I don't know, like you feel good when you make people laugh. You're like, yay, I've brought some joy to someone today, you know? Like it's...
Yeah, it's easy
like when
to
you
get
tell
lost.
a story, you're like, yeah, people laughed. Like,
it's easy to get lost in the high that you get of people laughing and forget to like bring people joy. I've heard a lot of other comedians say as well. Don't forget to be there for them.
Yeah,
come there to make joy for other people.
Exactly.
That's part of the ingredient. We'll have to wrap it up. It's been great having you here.
It's been so good to be here.
Thanks.
I love a fat chat.
Well, hasn't it been fat? These couches are fat. I hope you guys can't hear too much squeaking.
I know.
I've got the leather jacket, leather on leather.
It's a really comfy chair, actually.
Oh, cool. I'm really glad it's comfy. And it's been great to have you here. And I think that I know, but where can people come and see you?
Yeah, Bunbury Comedy Connect.
Yeah.
All the stand-up comedy gigs. I'm going to try and do them all, hey?
The next one that I know is actually in Bolselton, which is cool, on Saturday. Are you signed up for that?
I don't think I've signed up to that one yet, no.
Okay. check it out.
should.
I hope that you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be nice to do a different place. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be cool. Thanks for coming on, Courtney.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. That was so fun.
Is it fun?
Yeah, it's so
I'm glad you
fun.
like it.
I always knew I'd love doing podcasts.